Sword Art Online is without a doubt the worst anime ever made, but there's one thing even worse than Sword Art Online itself, and that would be the Sword Art Online community. It's an absolute cesspool, overflowing with the most obnoxious, self-deluded people imaginable. Take the toxicity of Star Wars fanboys, the unhinged obsessiveness of K-pop stans, and the blind, cult-like worship of Zack Snyder devotees. Mix all that together, crank the cringe up to max, and you've got Sword Art Online fans in all of their insufferable glory. I guess it makes sense. When you've got a terrible anime like Sword Art Online, it's bound to attract equally terrible fans. You might be wondering why the fanbase is such a mess. Let me break it down for you. Sword Art Online fans are some of the biggest liars and frauds out there. They'll go on and on about how defending Sword Art Online is pointless, that it doesn't change anyone's mind, and that people should just give it up and move on. It's not worth the effort, and it only makes things worse. But then they turn around and crank out their own rebuttal content to defend Sword Art Online, like it's their full-time job. It's honestly pathetic. They trash others for doing the exact same thing they do, pretending they're above it all while drowning in the same behavior. They can't even stick to their own rules, and the contradiction is so blatant, it's laughable.
Sword Art Online doesn't need any defending.
Liar! Sword Art Online fans even go as far as saying that rebuttal content is and it does nothing positive for the series. Okay, then why do they keep making more of it? They act like it's a waste of space, but somehow that doesn't stop them from pumping out the exact same kind of content. Sword Art Online fans assert that debunking criticism is a complete waste of time and that they don't care about defending the series anymore because haters will never change their minds no matter how many facts and context are thrown at them. Then why do they keep wasting their breath trying to justify a show they supposedly don't feel the need to defend? The Sword Art Online fans can't follow their own advice.
Look at their faces. They don't even have the decency to be ashamed.
Sword Art Online fans love to preach about how defending the series is pointless because it legitimizes the haters. They act like people already know that critics like Digibro and Mother's Basement are completely wrong, so there's no reason to bother pushing back. In their minds, the show doesn't need defending anymore because all the negative takes have been disproven or worn out. Anyone still trying to speak up for Sword Art Online is, in their view, just stirring up pointless drama for no reason. But then they go and make their own rebuttal content to Mother's Basement and jump right back into defending Sword Art Online. Suddenly, it's not a waste of time when they're the ones doing it. The fans act like they're way too smart to fall into the trap of arguing with haters, yet they can't resist jumping in at every opportunity. It's impressive how they can lack this much self-awareness.
It's over.
No, I have to do this. I know that much is true.
Sword Art Online fans brag about how they only want to focus on talking about how great Sword Art Online is, rather than talking about how bad it isn't. Yet, they can't keep their mouths shut when it comes to defending it. They cling to any excuse to argue, despite claiming they don't care what anyone thinks. In reality, the Sword Art Online fans are obsessed with the hate. It's nothing but mindless hypocrisy. Sword Art Online fans love to act like they're too cool to care about the hate, like they've moved past the need to defend the show. But the moment someone criticizes it, they have to respond.
That's how we're gonna win. Not fighting what we hate, saving what we love.
When we stay silent, we're just as much to blame as those we fight against. And fight is what we must do!
Sword Art Online fans are so delusional that they've actually convinced themselves there's no visible Sword Art Online hate anymore. According to them, anyone still defending the show is beating a dead horse with their own dead horse. But if that were true, then why do these Sword Art Online defense videos keep popping up? If there's no visible hate for Sword Art Online anymore, then what exactly are these people still defending against? Who are they even arguing with? There shouldn't be anything left to debunk. But the sheer number of these response and rebuttal videos proves that the Sword Art Online fans are lying to themselves. They can't keep their own narrative straight, blindly contradicting themselves. Additionally, if Sword Art Online was really as great as its fans claim, then it wouldn't need their relentless defenses. A truly great series wouldn't require an army of fanboys scrambling to explain why every glaring flaw isn't actually a flaw. The quality of the show would speak for itself, and it can stand on its own merits. Do you see anyone frantically defending Citizen Kane? Do you see people making endless response and rebuttal videos trying to prove The Godfather is actually a good movie? No, because real masterpieces don't need excuses. The fact that Sword Art Online fans feel the need to fight tooth and nail to justify the show's existence only proves how weak and indefensible it really is. The more the fans rush to defend the show, the more obvious it becomes that it isn't perfect. The fans think they're protecting the show, but in reality, they're drawing more attention to its flaws. Every defense, every angry comment, and every over-the-top rebuttal rebuttal only highlights how insecure they are. Instead of helping, they're doing more harm than good and exposing the cracks they're so desperate to cover. By actively trying to stop the hate, they only fuel it more. It's like those time travel movies where the characters go back to prevent a disaster, only to realize they were the ones who set it in motion in the first place. It's a classic case of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Every action the fans take to defend their precious sword art online only confirms the very criticism they're trying to deny.
In your arrogance to prove you could cheat prophecy, you ended up fulfilling it.
Sword Art Online fans clearly haven't heard of the Streisand effect. When you try to silence or censor criticism, all you really do is shine a bigger spotlight on it. Instead of letting other people's negative opinions about Sword Art Online fade away on their own, their constant efforts to defend the show just add fuel to the fire. The more they push back, the more attention the criticism gets. Sword Art Online fans aren't protecting the show. They're handing it over to the internet on a silver platter and begging people to tear it apart. By trying so hard to stop the conversation, they're only making it louder, and now people who wouldn't have given it a second thought are suddenly curious to see what the fuss is all about. Sword Art Online fans completely played themselves.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
They're the reason this all started, and my channel is living proof of that. If the fanbase hadn't been so obnoxious, aggressive, and downright toxic, then I never would have bothered making videos about the show in the first place. But their non-stop gatekeeping, harassment, and inability to take a shred of criticism lit the fire. They practically begged someone to push back, and I answered. Every hate video, every takedown, every brutal critique, it's all on the fans. They made this happen. They created me.
What have you become?
I am what you made me.
The man you loved is gone. All that's left is his rage.
I didn't choose this path, but they forced me into it.
I've led you down the wrong path.
It's the only path I know.
The fans say that Sword Art Online is one of the best anime of the 2010s, constantly topping anime charts and getting endless upvotes every single week on Reddit. Everyone who disagrees needs to grow up, get off their high horse, and see the world as it really is. Alright, if that's true, then why do the fans keep defending the show like their lives depend on it? By their own logic, everyone already loves Sword Art Online, and it has an amazing reputation, so there should be no reason to waste time defending it. If Sword Art Online were as beloved as they claim, then they wouldn't need to fight this hard to convince everyone that it's so good. Sword Art Online fans are the ones who need a serious reality check. Sword Art Online isn't some beloved masterpiece, no matter how much the fans delude and gaslight themselves into thinking it is. The Anime Man conducted a global poll asking people to vote for the best and worst anime of all time. Over 145,000 people from over 100 countries voted. Sword Art Online ranked as the second worst anime, beaten only by X-Arm. Boku no Pico came in third. Let that sink in.
Are we really saying that a crappily executed isekai anime is worse than literal anime CP?
Yes.
Most people consider Sword Art Online to be worse than Boku no Pico, an anime that is literally used as a meme for the most cursed, unwatchable content imaginable. That's how much of a joke Sword Art Online is in the anime community. Even among the worst of the worst, Sword Art Online still manages to stand out as an absolute embarrassment.
I would much rather watch SAO 100 times over than anything with the word Pico in the title.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
In Japan, the protagonist's name is literally used as a slang term and insult for people with bad taste in anime. That alone should tell you everything. Sword Art Online is a punchline.
This has turned into a mockery, but not the one you expected.
You've really got to wonder, do Sword Art Online fans like the show? They actively seek out criticism just so they can argue about it instead of actually talking about what they supposedly love. That's not something a fan does. A real fan should be celebrating what makes the show great, not desperately trying to prove why everyone else is wrong for hating it. The fact that they can't enjoy Sword Art Online without being on the defense makes it pretty obvious that they have doubts about it. I don't promote or share my videos anywhere, yet I still get flooded with comments from Sword Art Online fans trying to defend the show. This means the fans are actively hunting down criticism, spending their time watching videos they claim to despise, and then spending more time writing lengthy responses. Instead of enjoying the show, they're obsessing over every ounce of negativity, proving that they're not true fans. Not to mention, my videos have way more dislikes than likes, and it's obvious they're coming from the salty Sword Art Online fans who can't handle a single ounce of criticism toward their precious show, so they swarm swarm the dislike button like it's some kind of moral crusade. If the fans had any real confidence in the quality of the show, then they wouldn't feel so threatened every time someone points out its flaws. In fact, I bet $1 million there are Sword Art Online fans watching this very video right now.
You wouldn't dare.
Oh, I would.
What are you doing? Shouldn't you be ignoring the hate like you always claim? The fact that you're here, watching, getting mad, probably already typing a comment, proves you can't. You say it doesn't bother you, but your actions scream otherwise. You exposed yourselves. I'm making these Sword Art Online hate videos to test the fans, and wow, they failed that test miserably. If they really believed Sword Art Online was some flawless masterpiece, then a few critical takes shouldn't even faze them. They should be able to shrug it off, confident in what they love. But that's not what happens at all. Instead, they go into full meltdown mode. They flood the comments, write essays trying to debunk every single point I make, and act like the very existence of criticism is some kind of threat to their identity.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
It's wild how fragile they are about it. If the show's really as untouchable as they claim, then why are they so easy to rattle? Turns out, it's not confidence, it's insecurity hiding behind arrogance. It's like the story of Orpheus and Eurydice from Greek mythology. Orpheus was given a rare chance to save Eurydice from the underworld. All he had to do was not look back at Eurydice, but he couldn't do it. Doubt ate away at him. His confidence cracked, and only steps away from the exit, he turned and looked back. Eurydice was lost forever because Orpheus couldn't hold it together. It's the same situation here. The fans can't handle criticism without freaking out, and that shows how much doubt they have about their so-called perfect show. It's all built on lies and insecurity. They know the show isn't perfect, and the truth terrifies them.
Believe me when I tell you, you have no idea what fear is.
I actually enjoy all of Michael Bay's Transformers movies, but you don't see me making 50 response and rebuttal videos defending Optimus Prime's honor, rage-watching hate content to feel attacked, or storming into comment sections to battle strangers over robot explosions. I like what I like, and I don't need anyone else's approval to validate that. Unlike Sword Art Online fans, I can form my own opinions, and it doesn't bother me if others don't see what I see. I'm probably one of the few people on the planet who actually likes Gods of Egypt, but you don't see me running around trying to defend it. I couldn't care less if other people hate it. Let them. It doesn't bother me, and it definitely doesn't change how I feel about it. I'm not weak-willed like the Sword Art Online fans. I don't need validation from other people to form my own opinions, and I definitely don't need anyone's permission to carve out my own path. The funniest part is that the fans aren't changing anyone's mind. Can you find a single person who used to hate Sword Art Online with a passion and now loves it because of something a defender said? No, you can't. People who hate Sword Art Online don't care, and they won't listen. The Sword Art Online fans are wasting their time trying to convince people who've already made up their minds, and it's nothing more than an embarrassing, pointless crusade. No hater has ever submit to a fan, and no hater ever will. The haters aren't changing their minds about Sword Art Online. The fans are just shouting into the void, hopelessly wasting their energy. It's a total no-win situation for Sword Art Online fans, and that's what makes it so satisfying to watch. If they keep defending the show, then they're proving my point about their hypocrisy and insecurity. But if the fans don't defend the show, then they're left sitting in silence while the haters continue to rip Sword Art Online to shreds. And, let's be honest, the fans are never going to let that happen. They have to defend Sword Art Online. They can't help themselves. They aren't gonna sit on the sidelines and ignore it. Which brings us right back to square one. It would be absolutely hilarious if a Sword Art Online fan made a response or rebuttal video to this one. It would be the perfect punchline, like proving every single point I made in real time. They'd rage against the criticism, try to debunk it with the usual recycled arguments, and in doing so, completely validate everything I said about their inability to let anything go. It's the ultimate self-own. Overall, the Sword Art Online community is a joke. It makes sense though. A terrible show is bound to attract terrible fans. It's a perfect match. You've got a weak, flawed series with an equally pathetic group of fans. Being a Sword Art Online fan must be exhausting, constantly defending a bad show, fighting battles with people who are never going to change their minds, and always being on the lookout for hate to argue about it. It sounds like a never-ending cycle of frustration. I'm glad I'm not a Sword Art Online fan, never was a Sword Art Online fan, and never will be a Sword Art Online fan. It's honestly baffling how the fans will bully people into stopping their defense of the show, and then, once those people actually give up, the same fans crawl out of the woodwork saying how much they enjoyed the content, and what a shame it is that it stopped. Like, what? You're the reason they stopped in the first place. I guess it's true what they say. You don't know what you've got until it's gone. gone. The pedantic romantic made a whole video series blaming Digibro for killing Sword Art Online's reputation, but I don't buy that. It's not Digibro's fault. The fans did that all by themselves. They're the ones who ruined it. They attack anyone who tries to defend the show, chase off people who actually care, and then wonder why no one takes the series seriously anymore.
Why is there a crowd of people that hate SAO so much? So, why all the hate for Sword Art Online? Serious question, why do so many people hate SAO? New to SAO, why the hate? Why do people hate Sword Art Online? Why do so many people hate Sword Art Online? Why do lots of people hate Sword Art Online? So there's a ton of hate for the Sword Art Online anime series. Of course you can hold the haters and detractors responsible for that, but a lot of the blame also falls on the Sword Art Online fans themselves. This might be strange to hear, so let me explain. In this video I'll tell you how the Sword Art Online fans themselves ruined Sword Art Online's reputation. First of all, the major problem is that the Sword Art Online fans have just accepted the hate, and they don't want to do anything about it. That's a big reason why there's so much hate for Sword Art Online today. No matter where you go, you're guaranteed to find people hating on Sword Art Online as long as the topic is brought up. However, you almost always see people hating on Sword Art Online and talking negatively about it, and rarely do you see people defending the show. Why is that? Well, this is a pre-recorded video, so I'll tell you why. It's because most of the Sword Art Online fans just want to live in their own little bubble and pretend like the hate doesn't exist, rather than actually do something about it. They prefer to bury their heads in the sand and ignore everything. The Sword Art Online fans aren't willing to speak up or fight back against the haters. I really don't get it. Ignoring things doesn't just magically make them go away. For example, if you have cancer, you don't just sit there and ignore it and your cancer will magically vanish. You go get treatment and fight the cancer, then maybe you'll be able to beat it. I guess most of the Sword Art Online fans just don't get that concept. And my god, is the Sword Art Online subreddit just a cesspool of ignorance and idiocracy. The people there are just complete morons. So it's apparent that the majority of Sword Art Online fans don't want to do anything about the hate. They would rather take the easy route and turn a blind eye to everything, and act like the hate is non-existent. Meanwhile, on the Sword Art Online subreddit, pictures of half girls or girls in outfits easily get over 1,000 upvotes every single time. It seems like the people on the Sword Art Online subreddit only care about which female character they're gonna next. It's pretty clear what their priorities are. They have no interest in discussion or analysis about the Sword Art Online series itself. It's pathetic. The only thing that the Sword Art Online fans are concerned about is which female character is hotter, and which female character they would rather sleep with. So by not speaking up, the Sword Art Online fans willingly allowed the Sword Art Online haters to take over. Since the Sword Art Online haters were the only ones voicing their negative opinions, people eventually just started believing everything they said, because they didn't see any counter arguments or disagreements. Even people who used to like Sword Art Online were forced to change their opinion due to peer pressure. Nobody else was saying anything positive about Sword Art Online, so those people couldn't either, or else they would be the odd one out, and nobody wants to get left out. Like on YouTube, people who used to give Sword Art Online good or moderately positive reviews were now obligated to hate on it because everyone else was hating on it as well. For example, Glass Reflection, one of the more well-known anime reviewers on YouTube, gave the first season of Sword Art Online a relatively high score of 7.5.
Has me awarding Sword Art Online with a 7.5 out of 10. It's worth the watch, certainly.
This was before the Sword Art Online hate train took over. However, Glass Reflection's review of the second season of Sword Art Online a few years later was much more negative.
I would rather sit down and read the Harry Potter fanfiction, My Immortal. Suffice it to say that I didn't really like it a whole lot.
Another example would be the Anime Man, who's a very popular and influential anime YouTuber. The Anime Man gave the first season of Sword Art Online a 9.5 out of 10.
I gave Sword Art Online a 9.5 out of 10.
However, he changed his opinion and started making Sword Art Online hate videos instead, because all the other anime YouTubers were doing that, and the Anime Man didn't want to be singled out or discriminated against. The crucial issue is that Sword Art Online fans have accepted the hate, and they're fine with it, I guess. That's why they don't argue back or speak up against the haters. They don't even want other people to speak up and confront the haters either. As I said at the beginning, you can of course blame the Sword Art Online haters for the hate, but a lot of the guilt is also due to the Sword Art Online fans themselves. The Sword Art Online fans let the haters take over without any struggle or opposition. Plus, it's a little too late to start talking now, and there's nothing you can say to convince them otherwise. Even if the Sword Art Online fans started getting louder now, it won't improve much. This battle was over before it even began. So no, Digibro did not kill Sword Art Online. The Sword Art Online fans themselves killed Sword Art Online by staying quiet and not fighting back against the haters. The legacy of the Sword Art Online fans is failure, hypocrisy, hubris. At the height of Sword Art Online's popularity, the fans allowed the Sword Art Online haters to rise. It was the Sword Art Online fans who were mostly responsible responsible for the massive amount of Sword Art Online hate you see today. I seriously don't know what the problem is with Sword Art Online fans. I don't get it, I really don't. I'm just so fed up and frustrated with the Sword Art Online community. No wonder you don't see many people speaking up and defending Sword Art Online. What is wrong with the Sword Art Online fanbase? That's not a question I can ever answer. So yeah, as you can see, it's useless to try and do something about it, because the haters have strength in numbers. The haters are way too powerful. They're far more vocal. In the end, nothing is going to change. But most of the Sword Art Online fans believe that there's no need to defend Sword Art Online. They don't care about the hate. It's apparent that a ton more people are interested and enjoy watching Sword Art Online hate videos, rather than videos defending Sword Art Online. There's no reason to continue making more videos defending Sword Art Online. They don't want to fight. They don't want to do anything about the hate. It's time to give up. There are a lot of problems about the Sword Art Online fanbase, but I just needed to say all of this. Even though I know I'll get a ton of backlash, they all believe that Sword Art Online is a flawless masterpiece, and you can't criticize it. Everyone who does is making stuff up, or basing their arguments off of misconceptions. In reality, that's not the case at all. There's plenty of legitimate critiques about Sword Art Online, without needing to fabricate lies about it. If you did actually watch this far, then let me know what you thought about the video in the comments below. Even if you don't agree with me, do you at least see where I'm coming from? That's all I wanted. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.